steeples on Washington.
I'll be darned. You know, they used to call the thing here 7 steeples.
7 steeples.
Yeah.
What they used to call 8 towers. It had 8 towers. That was one of the old ancient names for Central State. 7 steeples, because you could only see 7 steeples from either way, but there were actually 8 towers.
So tell me about your ghost.
You don't see them. You can't see ghosts.
This is one of the last trips I will make to Central State as it exists in its present state. Most of the buildings are scheduled to be demolished in the coming months. This rebirth and reuse of the grounds, I believe, is a good thing, as the energy trapped here for so long can finally be physically released into the light.
It's quite a place. It drew strange people.
One of the doctors, his wife was going out on him. He come home and he found them both in bed, and he shot her and shot him and then shot himself. One of the clients was telling somebody where I work now. Same client who was in this guy's ward. And they didn't believe him. They didn't believe him.
It drew people who couldn't get a job anywhere else because they couldn't speak English. State will hire me because I'm a doctor.
Nobody ever found out anything. I was put in a garbage truck and taken to Turkey Run to help hunt a client who was lost. And it was a camping trip, and she got away from them, and she was found face down in water, no water in her lungs. She had no family to push it to find out what was really going on. So it didn't take long until it was forgotten, and she was buried over Jackson. And
3,200 men and women, all gathered together, are physically as well as mentally ill.
Treatment of depression by means of electric shock.
Heartbreaking, to be honest. Knowing what I've learned from what I like to call the unseen that still remain here, former patients.
Several groups investigated here before the demolition began, and this film shares some of their experiences.
Who each year pass through doors like this, into the mental hospitals of our land.
Well, the first time I was here was in 2003. Wow. We have to cleanse this building. And I'm just going to do a little short prayer before we go up to where the energy is up there. We ask the bodies to align mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally in the present time. We ask for protection.
Reports of abuse and neglect begin to surface. Many patients are old, and often theirs is a tragedy. Rejected.
Oh, I remember being in here. I think we came from the other way.
We did. And
We came from the other direction.
This had all kinds of stuff growing on it, remember?
Oh, it still does. And there were actually even some plants hanging here. Wow. Wow. It's in much more disarray.
Put 2 women in control of 40 men who are just totally on base level, and give them a cage to hide in when things get really rough. I don't know how in the world I couldn't see where that was headed, but they set it up to be functional, not to be therapeutic. I remember one of the questions in 1980 on the test to be hired was, who's the president? It was a 3rd grade reading level. If you take away inhibitions, self-control, and add in all the basic needs that a person has, you're bound to have a battle between, is this right?
See how the beautiful vines are coming through? Because before this felt very eerie in here, but at the same time it's like there's life and growth and nature energy coming in. Walking Dead Paranormal was one of the groups that were allowed this final look into what was known as Central State.
Left my damn flashlight in the car. I got a flashlight.
Wait till we get.
He said this will take us to everyone.
Okay.
Before you go through, I'll hold you. I'll catch you.
Tell him that.
Shot this in 2005, something like that. Wow, it's very different. Very different energy.
Okay, so we just got down here into the tunnels, Central State. We're going to start here, and we can pretty much access every building through the tunnels. So hopefully the cops don't catch us down here.
Come closer to it and it'll light up. All the way for me.
So there's a lot of energy here. It's like it's needed time to settle down.
It's almost like they were trying to keep something out.
And hopefully we can ascend more of the energy up.
And we played. And we'd paint the fingernails and comb the hair and tell them how pretty they were on the old lady wards, on the back wards. They were very dark. We'd bounce balls around to them. A lot of them were tied in chairs. A lot of them had no clothes on. Sheet wrapped around them to hold them in because they'd fall out on the floor if it wasn't. It looked abusive to a young one until I was there for a while. I even worked the infirmary wards where they were incontinent of bowel and stool and urine and stuff, and it didn't smell good, and nobody wanted to be there.
What was thought of as a treatment then is considered abuse today.
So we're going to go ahead and get started.
Okay, I don't know if you can hear me or not, but it's cold, wet, and nasty down here. How far back does it go before you hit a building?
Keep going straight. A few hundred more feet, we'll be in the powerhouse. Supposedly, guy that worked here in the powerhouse got choked by something unseen.
We're made up of electromagnetic energy, and because of that, places that are conductors of electromagnetic energy, old power plants, are a source of spirit activity because of the way the energy fields are already set up there.
Deep in the basement of the powerhouse, apparitions took on a different shape, with clanging of pipes, and in one instance, an assault on a sleeping workman.
Unexplained things I've seen around here.
Deep in the darkness of the basement, a spirit is reported to have choked this unsuspecting soul as he slept. The workman awoke, gasping for air as he opened his eyes to darkness. Breaking free from what he thought was a human attack, he ran to the light switch and turned in a panic to see his attacker. But there was no one there, nothing but his empty cot. He was later examined and found to have deep red marks around his neck with no physical explanation.
We went in there and set a net and cot up in there and took a little nap.
That's where you got strangled?
And we come over, put that light on, looked back in, and as you can see, there's no way out in there. It's just one little room, and he couldn't find nobody in there. He would not go back in there. He was willing to be fired.
Are you a man?
Yes.
Opened in 1848 and shut down in 1994.
Also, is that recent?
Yeah, 150 years it was open. Drake will take you to the big tower house. To the right's like a big generator building. 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 The first time me and Darlene came, I heard screams.
Oh, really?
Yeah, female screams. Make a right and just go straight.
Sensing in the afterlife requires a sixth sense. When one or more of the more traditional ways to interpret the supernatural are inhibited, the others seemed heightened. Then a discovery of a hidden tunnel. But it turned out to reveal a dead end. What I find fascinating is the way our friend explains with sign language how the spirits reveal themselves to him.
So you talk to ghosts with your third eye?
The communication with the dead has no bounds.
He said that he's not been in the tunnels, and he's like, it's like he's able to know where the tunnels are.
Yeah.
And he said he's not been down.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think he's got a really.
Where we want to go.
Yeah, he's got a real good sense of.
You want to go over there?
We basically was just doing general recordings, and I heard something that made me go upstairs to go check it out. I went up the center staircase, and I took a picture to the right, and I turned and took a picture to the left. And as a result of the photo, I ended up seeing what looks to be remarkably like a nurse in the same period of clothing that they wore back in the day when the nurses were actually trained inside the administration building.
No? I thought so.
Okay. I guess we've seen everything there is to see here in this building.
I have worked with Dwayne on several projects, and his work is exceptional. Here he captures a spirit revealing a name.
Need extra pillows? Blanket?
Anybody back here?
Yes, I feel it. I don't want to feel it. You don't need to be feeling it anymore either. You need to let it go. Let it go, let it go. I understand why you're here now. Wow, you got lost in that drug overdose here. Did someone bring you illegal drugs in here? Somebody brought you something illegal? Does this spirit respond to my question? Did someone bring you illegal drugs in here?
I can only see the, like, bottom 100.
Hi, Cassidy.
Doing one by myself and gotta get out.
Amy, are you in here with us?
Yes.
We got Cassidy here with us. She can speak with you.
She asked if we've seen her son.
Her son's here.
She said they took him.
Out of the building. Get the heat gun. It's gonna be like 20 degrees in here.
She said away from me.
The tunnels seen here are not accessible after the demolition, but it was reported that whispers could be heard. Here's an EVP captured by Dwayne in the tunnels of those sounds.
One of those rooms, oh, he's gonna tell you something.
Middle tunnel, I smell old pipe or cigar.
Goosebumps. And he didn't hear me
I
say
smelled
that.
it down there.
We
Look,
smelled
I got
it too.
goosebumps too because I smelled it down there.
I got it on my recorder and we got it on
Take our
film.
breaks in the break room, which is an empty patient room on our ward. I went in for my regular 30-minute nap. I guess I'd been asleep just about a minute or so. There was these three guys standing there, dressed in clothes obviously from the 1920s, patient clothes. And they started to slug me. I mean, they were letting me have it. And I'm thinking, what is going on, you know? But in the end, just as fast, like a golden white light shot across the room, and there were three or four other men there, not of the same genre as the guys who were beating me up. They were like, I don't know, angels, maybe, grabbing them, pulling them across back into the light. That was before I realized that our building was on top of the old graveyard.
Just went through the tunnel and got to the powerhouse. And I am sitting down here in the tunnel system. Everybody else is up top. If you're down here, can you make a noise for me? I'll tell you what, it's creepier than shit down here. Were you a patient here at Central State? Run to these freaking pipes.
Did you just whisper something, Josh?
No.
Something said don't, and I went to walk in there. That's what I heard.
Your girl.
Yeah, I gotta get out in here too, in the basement.
Say get out.
See, now I hear it. That's what I heard, and I thought it said don't, because I started to walk in
Well, I
here.
asked who's back there because it was right there when I heard that.
That's when she
Turn on
turned.
my
That's about
light.
when I went to turn to walk in with you. Okay.
It's a lot of it the stigma of how patients were treated in the early days of mental illness. Some of the patients were actually admitted for, like women, for going through menopause. You had people who was admitted here for basically epileptic seizures, syphilis, and to know how some of them was actually treated in the earliest years, it was somewhat barbaric treatment, although at the time it was considered cutting edge.
Interesting state of different kind of disrepair than it was. It's a different energy. It's like it's coming in stages to be healed and be revitalized. Sometimes that's the way it works. You have to go in stages. You have to go in levels and layers, and I think we're up to maybe 5 levels being cleared, and there's 2 more very important ones, the last one's to be healed. So this will be a good venture. EVP, or electronic voice phenomena, are recorded by the investigators as they traverse the halls.
She's kind of standing over there. She's like moving her fingers all weird. She's moving them like this. And she's sitting here just doing this. Moving up and down. Moving her thumb like that. She's residual. It's like she's having a conversation with herself, but what she's saying, she's just like, you did it, you didn't do it, you did it, you didn't do it. It's really weird. She's like talking to herself and moving her hands all weird. It's kind of freaking me out.
Hear what it said?
It's like a male voice in the background.
Says, tell her. It is what it said.
I'm scared.
What do you want us to tell her?
Was in a place where patients had been in some of the worst institutes, and there was one of these backboards where they kept the real elderly. This one woman, she had this real, it was kind of a witchy, it was kind of a haunted scream and stuff. We'd walk down the hallways, but I always heard that.
What about him coming down?
The therapist was always my face telling me everything that was wrong with me. That, I didn't like his attitude. So one day out of revolt, I jumped up, got him in a headlock, and knocked him to the ground. So they pushed the panic button. Next thing, they had a mob squad down on me, and I was in a quiet room, and I was being injected with all kinds of mind-altering drugs.
We're in the quiet room. We heard stories of what went on in here. Was it quiet when you were in here? What did they do to you in here? Did they tie you down and just let you scream?
Education Board, Professions and Occupations.
You hear that?
Cassidy.
You hear it?
Yes, I'm ready. Calm
It's down
down.
there. It's down there.
How's it know my name? Are you acting scared? Yes. Is that your first investigation?
No, it just is.
I'm going up on the vertigo. Huh?
You can stay outside.
Huh.
Are you serious?
No.
Yeah.
I've done this place over the summer about 10 times. I've only just
Hold on a second, let me get to it. All right, hold on. Everybody stop moving for a second.
First investigation.
Oh, is this the first investigation? Oh, okay. I was gonna say, you picked this place?
Right there.
That's a,
Right there.
that's a kid.
Right there.
That's a kid.
Yeah, that was a little
Did you hear that?
That little girl. Yeah, what's that about?
Those are similar to a marking we found in that old schoolhouse in 30th and German church. Caught fire. And they tore down. We got huge EVPs in there. And then these were just
Okay, so right now we're in the dorm area at Central State, heading up the stairs. It's not quite as cold in this area as what it was this morning. This right here, I think, is the second floor.
there.
Picking up on anybody?
Do you want intelligent or residual?
I like intelligent. Residual bores me.
There is some intelligence if I can feel it.
What are you getting?
He said something, said his name.
You heard something say your name? If you said Rocky's name, can you do that again? If there's any staff or patients here with us, could you give us a sign? Did you hear that?
What the hell was that?
You hear that?
What the hell was that?
That was a little kitty yelling, wasn't it?
We were sitting out there getting ready to go, just looking at the steps. I mean, it's like kids, like talking, plain as day. That's too far away to be us.
Yeah.
We're in the one of the buildings here at Central State. Picked up some amazing EVPs since we've been here. Probably some of the best EVPs I've ever heard. This here? Sounds like somebody.
Yeah, I heard it.
You hear it?
Yeah.
That way?
You got that way?
It may have been Josh, I don't know. Because you said yeah. You said, he said yeah, and then right after that you said, it sounded like yeah.
Yeah, it was Josh.
That's Josh. Okay. I thought so.
It was Jackass.
So yeah, we came back to stop.
You say stop?
So yeah, we came back to stop. So yeah, we came back to stop. So yeah, we came back to stop. And be quiet. And be quiet. And be quiet.
Were you the one that was down here with me earlier? My name's Josh. Can you tell me your name?
She said Cecilia, but she like draw it out in the S, like, or whatever the sound, the S sound, really long.
Did you have a boyfriend here?
She said no, they're too crazy. Were you a patient, Cecilia? She said yes. How long were you here? Did they ever let you leave? She said define leave. Did they ever send you home to stay?
Does she want me to stay down here with her? While everybody leaves this area?
She said could you stay forever?
And when we finished with this final trip here, the heavens seemed to, in the minds of our friend, signal their approval.
Yeah, I see it. Yep. Uh-huh. Ooh, it's kind of...
It is kind of creepy.
Look. Look, and you have. And your nose. Your nose. Uh-huh.
It just feels so liberating. It's like if we're in this time of transparency and in this time of things that were dark and hidden being filled with light, and like that's what's happening. It's being filled with light now. And all the structures that hid all the secrets and all the darkness and all the souls that spent so much time here and so much suffering it's like a relief. It's like the vision he's had all along of this not being a dangerous place or being a bad place. That's what's manifesting. And there will be bike paths, and there will be a restoration of nature instead of this building up of energy that got trapped in these buildings where they drugged people and didn't know really how to help people. It was almost like a magical grove. When we drove through there, I look back there now and I feel like I'm back maybe in the 1800s or 1700s before people were desecrating, and it was like a peaceful. I've never felt that way out here, even when we come to areas like this. It's never felt like this. And I really get a sense that because of the tunnels that are under here, that what they're doing here on the surface, it's setting off, it's like a row of dominoes. It's hitting thump, thump, thump. And even though all the buildings aren't down yet, it's like they're all getting the message, and the earth energy from below is healing. And there's going to be a restoration of this place. Because I truly believe, when I first stepped foot here, I said this was a sacred place. This was a sacred burial ground. I felt very strong energy also. A couple of times I felt real strong Native American energy, like big guardian, like very happy energy. And I love that we can see the church now. I love that we can see, now that this is down, you see this church people. It's one of the first things, you just go, wow, this is good.